You're listening to She's the Business podcast. Awesome. So I'm here with Anna Hastie, who is a sound bath healer and a business mindset coach. Anna, welcome to She's the Business podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. It's such a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you very much.
Yes, Anna and I have had a great conversation before when I was chatting to her on her podcast, and now she's doing me the very great honor of coming to speak here on She's a Business. I'm so interested to hear about sound bath healing because that is brand new to me. I've never done it before and don't know anything about it. So I'm going to have all of the newbie questions.
Amazing. I love newbies. I love newbies to the sound bath world.
It's going to be so good. So can you tell us a bit, Anna, about what you do in your business, I guess how you even got started into this. So let's dive into a bit more about you before we talk about sound baths.
Oh, absolutely. And I will do my very best to keep it into a really tight nutshell because, everybody can talk at lengths about their business or their entrepreneurial journey as to how they wound up where they are right now. So I started back in my early 30s. So in that Saturn return time, shifted into massage therapy, studied remedial massage, got into the world of spiritual healing, energy healing, learned a lot about that world and that aspect of myself from some beautiful girls that I worked with in a very high-end prestige day spa in Melbourne. That led me into my Reiki healing and down that rabbit warren and hole of so many other modalities, whether it was massage or energy healing and things like that. Somewhere in my mid-30s, decided that I was done with Melbourne life and living as a hipster, and I needed community and connection, and I found myself completely on the other side of Australia in the northwest region of Broome, WA. And after a year of just enjoying the lifestyle, decided this is where I wanted to make my home and also start a business. Why not, right? So I opened my doors, and it was originally called Creating Balanced Natural Therapies, which was focusing on remedial massage. And I was able to offer all the modalities that I loved, like cupping, lomi Hawaiian massage, dry needling, as well as intertwining Reiki and energy healing within that. Somewhere in there was this voice saying, you've created such a successful, thriving business. It feels like this runaway train. You need to put the brakes on somehow. And there was this part of me inside was like, I love massage. I'm really amazing at what I do. I have an amazing business built on massage with, wait list of clients, just loving everything I was offering. But I was a part of me that was just like, I think you need to shift and change. I'm starting to feel a bit tired, and just more like tired in doing a bit of the same old in a way. I don't know how to describe it, but something was in me saying, you got to put the brakes on this runaway train. Otherwise you're going to lead into burnout. Because I was like working within hours and days that I enjoyed, but I knew I was doing a lot all at the same time. Like I love doing a lot. Anyway, and in that time, I had been attending sound baths with a lady called Heather Jean from the Oracle of Sound. And she was coming up from Bunbury, so south of Perth, coming up to Broome during the dry season, and she'd offer like healings and sound baths. And I knew I just loved a sound bath. Like, I don't know what she did in those sessions, but I would go in and I'd lie down and I'd hear some of the starts and the intro to the whole session, and then I was out like a light. Like I had the most deepest, best sleep of my life to the point where you wake up and you're like, is anybody else still here, or did they turn the lights out and I'm the last to leave, And in that time, there was an element within my healing where I could feel myself shifting and changing. And for some reason, I wanted to make a sound, not quite sing, but it's called toning, when I was doing my energy healings. And I'm like, this is weird. Like I really was struggling to fight this urge to not go, ooh, or ah, or something like that within these sessions. And so I approached Heather and I said, I don't know what this means. I don't know what's happening. And at the same time within that, actually, I had bought my first Tibetan singing bowl, which just bought from one of those, crystal healing type health shops. And I was starting to play that in my healings as well. So along with wanting to make a sound like a real weirdo, playing this bowl and just hearing different elements of this bowl as I played it for different people, I was like, Heather, what does this mean? She's like, maybe you should learn sound bath healing. Maybe you should come and do my introductory course. Great timing, because she was up in Broome and she was offering it within that time that she was there. I said, sign me up, Heather. I'd love to learn. And from then I could literally say the rest is history. So that was literally how I started. So it wasn't like some sort of massive transformational awakening. I felt like that happened when it came from that shift of back in my early 30s in that Saturn return. I feel like learning sound bath healing was that next step within my healing profession or journey or path that I was like, right, I have to embrace this, because for some reason I'm being called to play this little bowl. I want to make weird sounds in my healing treatments. I know there's something more within this. And I have to say, from that experience, I can't believe the amount of opportunities that have come my way from having learnt and becoming a sound bath healer. And if anything, it feels so natural and so right for me to be doing this. It was literally my spirit, or whatever we want to call it, saying you need to go down this path. This is your next direction. So within that time, I was still doing massage, starting to bring in sound baths into my sessions, and then COVID happened. Thank you. So in that time, I was only just starting to do group sessions, and then COVID came along and shut the doors on that. So I explored and I navigated the online world of offering sound bath healings via Zoom, which, let's just say, back then Zoom was just absolutely horrible for anything that wasn't just a spoken voice, like as in meetings, because that's what it was originally designed for. Anyway, let's move on from that. So from there was also this other element of myself saying, this is now your time to stop massage. This is your break. Like, you can walk away from it now, but this is what you need to be doing. And through listening to a podcast and then signing up to Catherine Zinkina's Manifestation Babe Academy full manifestation training, I realized that I wanted to teach mindset coaching or help people through mindset. So that was like then studying NLP, EFT tapping, hypnosis, timeline technique, all those kind of things that sort of cement into supporting people with their mindset around whatever it was. And then the question was like, well, who am I going to support? And I have to say, not that I ever dreamed I would be in business or I'd run my own business, but I just loved every element of being in business. I love the ins and outs, the challenges, the ups and downs, the mindset work. And I honestly believe that the work I have done on myself is the most deepest inner transformational work that I have done through anything within my life has come through being in my business. And so I was like, right, I want to support other women to build successful, thriving businesses and support them with their mindset, because I was seeing that everybody's out there trying to figure out the next strategy or tip or trick or hack to get followers or make your 10,000K months or whatever it is, even just to create an email following or anything like that we're building within our business, those foundational things, which are extremely important. But I was seeing that the mindset element was sort of brushed on at times, sort of spoken about, but not really fully understood or like presented in a way that would be a bit more in depth and supportive to people running and starting a business. So that's where I was like, I need to go in this journey because I just love this aspect. And lo and behold, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're still doing inner work and transformational stuff through working on your business and doing mindset work. So people are still receiving that internal shifts and transformation, healing things that are, stuck within them or creating repeat patterns, whether it's coming out through business or other elements of their life, but it's just coming through the avenue of working for yourself. So that's pretty much how I was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And when you think about, how often people are thinking, right, I've got this business and I need to know all this stuff and I need to be doing the things and I need this and I need that. And then they're like, why is it so hard? Why isn't it working? And it's like, wow, there's so many reasons. And I fully agree. A huge part of it is like what's going on inside your head. How are you presenting? How are you thinking about yourself? What's the energy that you're putting out? Because when it's that like full on need based energy, it's sort of like it's really born from scarcity and lack. When you're thinking, I need this email list, I need these clients, and it's almost pushing people away more than it is bringing them in.
Attracting them. Yeah.
Yeah. And, as you said, absolutely. Gosh, anyone can pick up a how-to on how to do something on social media or how to create an email campaign. Like, there is so much content out there. And we're not short of information, but it's the mindset, and it's actually, the invisible stuff and the strategy that helps you to do it. And you don't need as much action. Like, if you get these things right, like it happens with far less energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just feel like they both work together. Like, if anything, you any aspect or time within your business, you maybe feel rocking like hot 100 within your business and everything's amazing, and you're like, no, I don't need mindset stuff because my business is building. But, they always say like new level, new devil. So you may get to a point where you feel like your business has plateaued a bit, or it's not quite reaching that next level that you're aiming for. Well, it might not necessarily be in your strategy, but where is your mindset supporting you? Like, are you having any of those like little niggly conversations coming up saying that you're not good enough, or comparing yourself to someone else, or anything that might be creepy and that's otherwise like taking your energy and that feeling of success and abundance away from what you're wanting to create? I do believe they go hand in hand, and in some ways cannot really be separated. And for me personally, like as a mindset coach, I love learning about the subconscious mind and how it actually governs so much of our day-to-day life and aspects of who we are, and how it's just responding to the information that we feed it to basically spill out and create our reality. So when we know how to work with our subconscious mind, we can create so much more within our life that we have often felt maybe been out of reach or difficult to do. Like, it's only ourselves that are getting in our way of our own success and drive and amazingness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And like, what's so interesting to me is how long I went through life not knowing anything about any of this. And it's literally like start a business, get into entrepreneurship, and like, bam, it's self-development, personal development on steroids, because you're the one, running the show. And it's so much about what's going on inside your head. Have you heard of that one? I get their notes from the universe from, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, Tut or Tut. And they send a little note out each day. It's from the universe. And anyway, one of their most famous quotes, it's fully trademarked, is thoughts become things, so choose good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It is so true. Like, what you think is basically this starting to shape your reality. So yeah, if you constantly have a thought within yourself, timeline of your business, that, you're not good enough, or someone is better than you, or business is hard or dying. Like, that was one of not affirmations, but beliefs I kept getting thrown at me when I started business, was that business is dying within this town that you're in. So good luck. I'm like, okay, thank you. As I open my doors to welcome in my first clients. If you're constantly thinking and believing that, then that's going to become your truth. And that's becomes part of your daily programming. So you are going to constantly see other businesses dying or failing, and within elements of your own business. And I hope this never happens for anybody, but business for you may seem more difficult or challenging, or not really evolving into the way that you hope it would.
Yeah. Like exactly what you just said, I've heard that when you have that thought and you believe it, like you actually believe it to be true, it is an inner truth that maybe we're not examining, but we're just going along with it because it's inside your brain and wherever it came from. But they say you will automatically look for evidence that backs it up. And so it's like this self-perpetuating thing, right? Where it's like, businesses are failing in this town. Well, guess what you're going to see every time you go out? Your eyes are going to be tuned in to seeing businesses close down, for sale, for lease signs up, all of that stuff going on. And you're going to be like subconsciously blocking out all of the success that's equally there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the only way I got myself around this, and I will say, like, I started my business Creating Balance purely on, like, I knew I was great at massage. So that part of me wasn't a problem or a question. It was the mindset work. And I didn't even know what mindset was back then. I didn't even know that you could work on it in the way that I know now. And I just literally had to put my blinkers on and put my fingers in my ears and be like, well, that's not my belief. That's not my belief. That's not my belief. Like, might be dying for you, but for me, it's successful. Like, I see businesses everywhere thriving, and I want a successful, thriving business, and I'm going to make it happen. So when it did happen, I'd be like, well, you know what? My business ain't failing. My business is rocking. So
yeah, that's so good. I love that. Now, tell me about sound baths. I'm really interested. Can you give a quick description of what even is a sound bath? What do you do in a sound bath session?
Absolutely. So I will start by saying soundbaths aren't new. It may be new to the Western world, but it's not necessarily new in the world in general. Like cultures and traditions and tribes have been using sound as a form of healing for millennia, right? So, and science over time, because good old science, we love science, has now backed it up to show that sound in itself can have healing and transformational elements or shifts within you as well. So let me just go back to what a sound bath is. So a sound bath is generally a journey through sound. So basically the facilitator or the healer, however they like to describe themselves, practitioner, will be leading the participants on a journey through different levels of sound and ultimately helping them to rest and relax and to get into that deeper state of rest and out of their thinking mind. So they may, for example, I start usually with rattles or shakers or something with a little bit more of a sort of like a shamanic element, sometimes a wave drum. Like I know other people will use rain sticks or maybe do singing and chanting or drumming. And that basically just helps like kind of get you into the zone of like, all right, we're going on a journey. It's a bit like a meditation. It kind of gets you settled in, helps you really connect back to yourself. And then you sort of wind into a place where you come into a softer element of rest and relaxation. And for me, I use the alchemy crystal singing bowls, which is a particular kind of singing bowl. I'll choose ones that are specific to the session, like whatever intention I want to promote or share with the group or the participants. And then from there, like just, that will be probably the large chunk of my sound bath. And then from there, lead them gently outwards and back into a waking state. So therefore I might ease them out with some chimes, or I've got a nice little hand drum that sounds a bit like you're in Bali. It's really beautiful. Or might play some gentle music just to bring them out. So ultimately you're going through a journey of rest and relaxation so that you fully embrace and receive the sound. And this is what I was going to start with by saying was that science has shown that if you were to look at us under a really high-powered microscope, you'd see that we're a bunch of atoms just vibrating en masse, and that creates physical form. And anything that's living and breathing is a bunch of atoms vibrating en masse in a physical form. So we have our own frequency, we have a vibration, we are energy, right? We are just en masse. That makes us physical. And what sound does, if we were to think, for example, if you were to think of like a sound that really jars you, like you just hate the sound of it, it makes you go, ooh, you cringe and it shudders and maybe it gives you a bad emotion, memory, thought, or feeling, that is an example of how sound can impact you in perhaps a negative way or an unpleasant way. So for me, mine is leaf blowers. Just really don't like the leaf blower. It's so noisy. It's like, get a broom, get a rake, sweep, come on. But if I heard, say, for example, chimes, like wind chimes or bowls being played or anything else in that respect, I feel deeply relaxed, right? If you think of the most relaxing, beautiful song that you like, that could be a lullaby or something very meditative. It makes you feel relaxed. It makes you feel calm, soft, and things like that. And it's the same with like when we think of all those songs we played during our heartbreak relationship, breakups and things like that, the ones that you'd cry to. If you were to hear it again today, you'd probably drum up that emotion and feeling of, oh yeah, that's right. That's what I listened to when I broke up with so-and-so. And you may even like start to remember some of those feelings, right? So science has shown that sound in itself has a vibration and a pattern, and that can affect us as we're vibrational and energetic beings. So if, for example, when it comes to the healing element of sound, if you were to imagine pendulums being set off at different times. So we've probably all seen some sort of meme or reel on social media where there's like pendulums being set off, and then over time they sync up and they start swaying and doing patterns in the same way or something like that. That's the exactly same way as us when it comes to our own vibration meeting a sound vibration. So if within ourselves, because we are vibrational matter, an organ or an aspect of ourself, any sort of element of ourself is not in its natural vibrational state, and our body knows what our homeostasis is, what our natural way of being is, that's when we have blockages, which could be energetic, it could be a physical blockage, it could be anything that creates and leads us to a place where we're not our healthiest version. So we're going into a place of dis-ease or discomfort, something like that. you bring in sound that has that transformational healing aspect, it will actually shift and change that vibration and bring it back. And this is called the law of entrainment, brings it back into its natural, you could imagine like swinging state with the pendulum, right? So when you're in a sound bath, you may experience different things, from just deep rest, like you just was like, oh, I had the best sleep. They say that I think if you have a 1 hour sound bath and you fall asleep, it's the equivalent to having a full night's rest. It can also work on our brainwave states. So we're in day-to-day our beta conscious waking state where we're thinking, we're making decisions, that kind of thing. When we get into that alpha and theta brainwave state, which is generally when we're in that dozy, like, you know, when you're sitting and watching TV and you're like, oh, I'm really tired, I really should start going to bed, but you'd like just one more episode of whatever. Push yourself through. But you know, when you're in a dozy state, that's your alpha brainwave state. That's literally when your your conscious mind is starting to go to sleep and your subconscious mind is starting to wake up. And your subconscious mind, while it works 24/7 in the background, during your sleep goes right through your whole body and does its whole system check, does all the healing that it's needing. Mm-hmm. So when you're starting to it's also a great time to program your subconscious mind, because when you're going through, it's kind of like that drowsy sort of state is like what you experience in hypnosis. Anyway, so when you go into this state, you're starting to really relax and rest, and you're basically empowering your subconscious mind to come forwards and do more healing. And then it can lead you into a theta brainwave state, which is definitely communicating with the subconscious mind. It's when we're most, we can program ourselves with affirmations, mindset work, things like that. But we are experiencing rest. We are experiencing sleep. So sound in itself can just bring us through those elements to help us get out of our thinking mind. So it's not uncommon for me to hear participants say, whoa, I was awake, but I also felt very sleepy. And if I tried to think of anything, I couldn't. I was just in this space in between. And that is a beautiful place to be. That's like where you are just resting and receiving, but you're not analyzing, you're not critiquing, you're not thinking, you're completely in that transformational place. Some people fall asleep. Some people will experience like shifts, like twitches or jumps in the legs. Like I've seen people like legs literally just flick out, like, whoa, but okay, they shifted something in there, you know, because again, we've got energy pathways, which you can, you've got meridian lines. We also have our chakra energy centers. We've got auric fields around us. So when you are receiving something that is on a healing element, again, you're shifting, expelling anything that's stuck or stagnant. So therefore your pathways open up and you have much more clear energy movement through you. And some people may get messages. I've had a lot of people receive like their next step or an answer to something, or go on completely crazy, not crazy, but like amazingly out of this world journeys. Some people see colors or lights behind the eyes. Anything of the above. It just shows that you are letting your mental state rest and you're allowing your other aspects of yourself to come forwards for healing and guidance. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing when I go into the studio and I'm like, I'm getting paid to help people go to sleep, just to have a little rest for themselves. And I get to sit here and play these amazing magical bowls, and this is my job. This is what I do.
Yeah, it's so incredible. So yeah. I've got many questions. I'm thinking like, which one is best to ask first? I guess
all of them.
What I'm wondering is, when would someone, when would you use them? Like, what is it? What kind of state or problem, or what reason does someone think I need a sound bath healing? This is going to be great for me. And then I'd love you to talk a bit about why choose that versus other types of energy healing. Like, what would make you think actually the sound bath is going to be one that I really want to try, and for what reason?
Yeah, absolutely. That's two really great questions there. The biggest one I feel like is when people are in that state of stress and they're in a state of worry. It really helps ease the mind when people are facing anxiety and depression as well, because again, it takes us out of that conscious thinking state and it allows us to rest and let go, and ultimately just be held and received in a space that's not only deeply relaxing, but there's energy circulating around this. So one thing I'll say is that crystal bowls are amplifiers of energy. So the ones I use are a blended mixture of different crystals or different semi-precious metals or earth stones or something like that. So they have the base of clear crystal quartz, which crystal quartz is, like any crystal, is a conductor of energy. So you find that also in your mobile phones, in technology, other sort of, what's the word, electronic devices and things like that. So crystals in itself conduct energy. So if you're playing a bowl that emanates love and kindness, that person is also receiving love and kindness to an aspect of themselves. So some people come to me when they're having really big moments to navigate within their life. They might be experiencing a relationship breakup and they just want a bit of time to rest and to heal for themselves. Some people, it might be physical discomfort. I've had some people come to a sound bath with back pain, and they said like later on that day it just disappeared and it's been with them for a while. Or one lady had said she was, I can't believe it. She said, I came in with a toothache. Not that she came to the sound bath to cure a toothache, but she'd just been dealing with this toothache all week. And she said, it's just gone now. And I'm like, that's cool. That means something shifted within you, like whatever's happened, whether it was emotional aspect of the toothache coming about, it's gone. And yeah, so they could be elements of why people would want to come. I guess a lot of people would come to a sound bath the same way they may want to explore and seek out any other form of energy healing. And I'm not saying sound baths are the only form and the best form for energy healing. It's the one that I just love giving and offering. But, you know, if someone wants to experience like a Reiki healing or a shamanic sort of kind of healing, or even breath work is a form of energy healing and release, sound bath also sits within those categories as well. It may be just that I truly believe that there's always something that somebody responds to the most and the best. I have people that come to sound baths and go, well, that was very nice, but I didn't really enjoy it so much. Or I like sound baths, but I prefer gongs. And gongs are like incredible instruments. You know, they're on stands and they're massive and you can play them in different ways and they have different meanings and they're extremely powerful. But myself personally, I'm not interested in playing a gong, but that's fine. Please go see the gong healer, you know. So yeah, some people come and they really resonate with it and it's their thing. They love it because they get to rest and have that time for themselves. They're not, you know, having to deal with the outside world, like all, you know, maybe the other things. Maybe it's just their form of feeling deeply rested and relaxed. But someone may feel more deeply and rested and relaxed if they went to their Reiki healer, or they had reflexology, or they went and had kinesiology, or even just a massage. So I honestly believe that it's one of many ways of working on yourself and bringing healing into your life, and it's not the only way. Yeah, so I feel like if someone was to come, it's more on that they've sometimes it's just curiosity. They're coming with a friend and they just want to see what it's like. But for some people, they have experienced different healing modalities, and this one for them is just one of the ones that they really respond to and they really enjoy, and they get something really meaningful out of it. Yeah, whether it's just time out for themselves and they're just wanting to have a nice relaxing morning, or they're coming for some deeper transformational healing. And I think that plays into when I think about this question. If people to come to see me in a group session or a private one-to-one, yeah, some people come because they just want to know what it's like and they just want to relax. Same with Reiki. Some people just be like, oh, I don't really feel like I need anything. I just want to come and relaxing. Like, that's fine. Let's just do some relaxation. But some people, they may have something deeper. Like they may have a bigger trauma or aspect of themselves that they're wanting to seek support and healing in. So, for example, I have one client that he has experienced childhood trauma, and you know they come for sound baths to help process things that they're working through with another therapist on, and they may come and see me for a one-to-one because they want that energy healing around certain things within their life that's circulating around that trauma. So it comes down to really like a personal experience and preference. For me personally, I love Reiki healings and I love sound baths. So they would probably be my two that I would always gravitate to first before maybe endeavoring in like kinesiology or reflexology or something else like that.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. Like I find it fascinating. I've dabbled a little bit in a few, but I've never had a sound bath healing. And I was thinking, you know, would it be the type of thing if you felt like, you know, maybe you had an energy block, you weren't really sure what it is, but you're like, there's just, I don't know, you have that intuition, right? Where you're like, well, I feel like I have an energetic block somewhere. Would that be something that you would go to? Like gone and done some Reiki at those sort of times. And it's really interesting kind of what comes out, because it's not necessarily what's front of mind at all, but then something deep comes out. And I'm sort of seeing this as potentially another option that would help you to sort of cleanse that energy and remove any blockages that you have. But it sounds really quite profound, some of the experiences people have. You know, I'm thinking those visions and, you know, getting a message through, you know, that's the type of thing I've only ever experienced during a form of hypnosis, which is obviously much deeper than where I've been to during Reiki.
Yeah.
That might have been my experience.
So you were spot on with something you were saying before, where we do often have that sense of like, something's not quite right within me, but I don't know what it is. I know it's not physical, as in like I've got a sore back or a shoulder. I feel like it's something else that I can't pinpoint, and that's when, you know, it's a perfect time to explore like a Reiki healing or perhaps hypnosis or whatever, you know, sound bath, pranic healing. There's a million modalities out there, because they all come back to the one thing about bringing your energy into alignment and releasing something that may be stuck or something that's not flowing effortlessly through you. When you have that realization, it's like, okay, what am I going to do to help shift and change this? What am I going to clear? How am I going to clear this? And maybe this is something that can help shift it. I mean, I've played a particular kind of bowl that works a lot around the throat chakra, and I've had people say, wow, like I really felt like something that was sitting on my throat just lifted. And I didn't know that when they came in, because they're in a group session, but afterwards they've said, I really felt like something that was sitting around my throat has just lifted and I feel like much more free. And I'm like, well, this bowl actually played a lot today just through guidance, and that's obviously what you've needed today, and that's incredible. So maybe they've now got an ability to talk more clearly or receive words or say things that they've been meaning to say, whatever's happened within that.
Yeah. I love that. I was going to ask you, and you kind of just alluded to that just a moment ago, so perfect timing. Like, I was going to ask how you know what to do as a healer, like especially if someone's coming in and they don't really know what it is, or if you've got a group of people, you know, how do you sort of know what to do during that session to help or heal the people? Because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think this is where it comes down to the level of training that you receive, and also from practice. And like anything in life, like for example, you ride a bike, how do you know which gears to shift to climb up that hill? That's because you've practiced and you've tried and tried and tried again, and then you realize what gears work for you to get up that particular hill, right? It's the same with any modality, but particularly within energy healing. You learn because you work on yourself, and you learn because you keep practicing, whether it's just on yourself or through learning, healing, and working with your clients or participants. But I guess for me personally, because I'd already come from a background of doing my Reiki training. I did some shamanic tribal training. I've done other multidimensional quantum healing. So I've done a lot of energy healing on myself and practice over time. I feel like my connection to, I would say, my own spiritual wisdom or divine connection is there, so that when I come into a session, sometimes I don't question. Like sometimes I'll come into a healing, a group healing. Well, it can go either way, really. I'll say this. Most of the times with the group healing, I will come in with an intention, or I will stand and look at my bowls and go, which ones are we going to play today? What do we feel like we're needing? And I'll tune in, maybe just feel out into the collective or what's happening at this moment in time that may be a good selection of bowls to play to help the people that are coming. I don't necessarily set a theme each and every time for my group sessions, because quite often I'll set a theme and then I get there on the day and I'm like, this does not feel like what we're needing today. This does not feel in alignment. So I try and just keep it loose unless there's been something really significant that I've done that I just want to reshare again. So for example, a particular meditation that I downloaded and was sharing with one group that I felt like that group would really benefit from. If I'm doing like a private group session, I would always ask them, like, do you have an intention for your group? Is there intention for the team, or what you're wanting to receive? So therefore I can weave some divine magic within that before I even get there. But most of the time it just comes through intuitively, and it just has to be in that sense of trusting what you're doing is right and not second guessing yourself. So for example, I will never play my bowls the exact same way. Even if I took the same bowls from last week and played them this week, they will never, ever, ever, ever be played the same way. Like I don't conduct myself. Like I don't have a score or a set of music where I go, right, we do this one, then this one, then this one, and hold it there. I know some people are trained in that way, and that's completely fine because it gives you the confidence to know what sounds sound good with which bowls and notes sound good together. But I truly believe, and this is what my sound healer said, you have to learn from playing, and you have to learn from trusting, and you have to learn from doing it over and over and over and over again. So when I come into a sound bath, yeah, I might have a kind of a format that I would follow, but it never comes out the same. And I just trust that whatever is being played is what's needed. And I guess if I had to describe that, to pinpoint it precisely, it would be knowing. It would be that sense of like, this feels right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question around it. Like this feels good to do, and I don't feel like I'm doing something wrong or incorrect or that's not beneficial to the group or the attendees. So it comes down, I think, through, again, time and time again, practicing, playing. The way I played the bowls when I first learned them 4 or 5 years ago is completely different now. And the one really amazing thing, as an example, that's shifted and changed through my playing is that I think it was after my daughter was born, I started singing more within the bowl. So you learn how to do some sort of like vocal toning, which is, again, that sound that came out when I was originally back in my pre-sound bath days where I was just like wanting to go, ooh, ah. Well, that all in itself is shifting energy, and anybody can do that. Stand in your shower while the water's running and just make a sound according to how you're feeling, and then make another sound according how you'd like to feel or what you want to have within you. It's amazing. It's very healing. It's very clearing. Strongly and highly recommend. Yeah, give it a go. And you sound great in the shower. You sound operatic. It sounds amazing. But one thing like I learned was that, so I learned the toning and I understood that. And as I was progressing, I learned that there's a thing called light language. Now, light language is just channeled verbal sounds in some ways, or literally a language or a dialect that doesn't have any English or, modern day Western meaning or translation. It's just a language that comes through and it's channeled through the person as divine connection. Some people it's connecting to other beings or planets or constellations or systems. I don't know what it was, but for me, I'd also changed venue in that time, and I believe that was also a catalyst. Plus, I actually got another bowl, but postpartum, new bowl, new location, and suddenly there was this need to sing words that I've never spoken before or I would have any idea of what their meanings was, but it just came out. And it just came out in a way that felt so natural and so good and felt like it was needed for the class that I just went with it. I didn't fight it because I know fighting it is resisting what is divine communication. So that has been a really interesting experience because now when I play the bowls and I play different ones, sometimes different songs come out, sometimes the same one comes out again. I just have to trust that what is done at that time is right for that group and that person within that time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I totally get what you mean. And it's like, you just don't question it. You go with it. You're getting that thought that comes in and don't let the logical brain try to make sense out of it. You just have to go with it. So
yeah. And it would be the same as, for example, if you're in business for yourself, right? And this is one thing I really want to help people understand is that when you trust that inner guidance within yourself, when you trust your heart, however you connect to that, wherever that would be in your body, not just the center of your chest, but, for gut, people, it might be in their gut or their sacral or their head or their hands or whatever it is. Trusting that is the right thing for you to do is the connection to your divine self that you are on the right path. When you are in a place of resisting and fighting something, then you're making life harder than what it should be. And you just trust. You just have to trust. So I'm sure, Jess, you've had those moments where you've had an incredible, like, inspirational moment or a download, if you want to say, where you've just gone, that's a great idea and that feels so good. And I feel so lit up by it. I'm just going to go for it. Like, you don't question it, right? You go for it. And how amazing is the outcome, right? But I'm sure, and I know I'm the same as you've had an idea where you go, that seems great, but if I did that, would I be seemed weird? Would that work out? And you question it and then you don't do it. And then you find out actually later on that's what you were meant to be doing.
Yes,
Oh, some of
well,
those moments. But yeah, trusting is the same. I think, like, no matter what you do, when you trust what you are doing and you trust that this is right, there's no mistake in that.
I think that's so true. And it's probably when we overthink it and then we try to force something and why are we overthinking it? It's like we're afraid of trusting in that, like as if we're afraid to fail. And it's like, well, what if
Yeah.
that original thought came through because that's what you meant to do? And if you just go with it and actually lean in rather than try to pad it out with too much safety and remove all the risk and really you're probably stepping out of that original thought of what it is. And I certainly know that there's been things that I've overthought and then it's taken so long to make it happen. And you're always like, oh, why didn't I just do it in the first place? Like, it didn't have to be that complicated. It didn't have to wait and struggle through all of these, really invisible barriers to get something done. And yeah, it's I think it's partly you learn through experience though, don't you? It's that
Oh,
hindsight.
100%. 100%. You just have to keep trying, practicing, doing the thing. And then when you realize, oh, that's the gears I need on the bike to get up that hill, it becomes second nature, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just have one last piece that I'm really curious to talk a bit about, and then we will wrap up and find out where we can reach you and things like that. But can you tell us when you mentioned at the end of the sound bath, especially you're working with entrepreneurs, that there might be something that comes in and you're doing a bit of mindset or the mind is sort of open, you're able to talk to subconscious and probably share some new thoughts or shift some
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. Share a little bit about what is it that you're doing in that time and what types of things are you commonly helping people to shift, or is it very varied
Yeah.
with each person? Are there any
Oh,
common themes that come through?
yeah, I think, look, I think in the world of entrepreneurship, it can be very varied and there is a myriad of things that we're all navigating at different times. For example, I'll give a really great example. A client that I recently worked with, she's just starting to step out into working for herself. She's an incredible healer, tarot reader, meditation teacher, shamanic healer. Not a lot of people in her friendship circle know that there's this side of herself. So she's literally wanting to step out and like say, hey, this is what I do. And I'm also going to run my business doing this as well. So she's really excited that she's finally knowing that this is the right time to do this. But one of the things that came out from one of our conversations was the fact that she didn't feel like she could trust herself to make a good choice or decision. And this is something that has been playing on her a lot through other experiences that she's had in the past, but seems to be playing out into her stepping out and having that confidence to run this business or create this, to launch and open her doors with this business. Mm-hmm. So we worked on two really cool mindset shifts, and this is through NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming. So we're literally talking to the subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is the part of you that does so much more than the conscious mind. Like it's a powerhouse, but it's not a part of you that's evil or bad. It's a part of you that's literally just responding to the information that you're constantly feeding it on a day-to-day regular basis, where it just churns out the exact same thing. So it programs all your habits, all your beliefs, and all your behaviors because it's seen you and it knows that you do the same thing all the time. It then creates shortcuts, which is why it creates habits, right? But it's the part of you that holds all your beliefs and your memories. And so what we're doing is we're tapping into that element of the subconscious mind to go back to that original. First of all, we did two things. So the first one we did was shift that belief from what she had based on an experience that she's had multiple times throughout her life, where she's come to the belief that she's just not good at making great decisions. Okay, so therefore, why would starting a business be a great decision, or anything that she's going to do in this business is not going to be based on a great decision and it'll therefore be a flop, failure, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So we went from that to shifting it to I trust myself and I know I make great decisions. So we did what's called a single belief change, where I do a rapid fire of some questions. She does rapid answering, and then we change a belief according to like 4 steps from the old belief she no longer wants to have to the new belief that she wants to have. And what I love so much within any of the NLP shifts that I do is when people say, and I ask them, is it there or is it just gone now, this old belief that you used to have? And they go, oh, it's just not there anymore. Like, it's kind of gone. So it's like, and how do you feel about your new belief? Yeah, I trust myself to make great decisions. So we're just talking to the patterns and the way the subconscious mind works to shift and change things. Then what we did is we went and did my absolute all-time favorite technique, which is the time technique. I love it so much. So this is where I get a little bit of my shamanic energy healing on, and we do a journey along her timeline to find the time when this belief first happened, because this belief might not have happened in this lifetime. It could have happened in past lives or past generational lives. So we're looking for that root cause when it first happened. And so we journeyed out to that point. We realized where it was. She gained the learnings from that moment, the positive learnings, which she then applied from that past moment all the way up to now, to basically have that shift where I asked her, how is that old belief? Is it there? Is it just gone now? And she said, it's just completely gone. Like, it's gone. We can't change things in the past. Like, you can't physically go out somewhere into the world right now and grab something of the past moment and bring it and give it to me. Like, you can't do that. So we can't change actions, but we can change our emotions and our thoughts and our feelings around those things. And they are the things that generate the belief that happens within your subconscious mind. So you change your emotions and feelings about something, you're going to be changing your thoughts, and then therefore your behaviors and your patterns, and therefore you're changing your reality. So having changed and shifted that aspect of that belief for her has been quite profound, because she's messaging me in between our sessions saying, I'm feeling so motivated. I'm really excited. I'm actually taking action. Like, it's all happening. I'm like, yay.
Amazing.
Yay. So
how many sessions does someone tend to need to have? Or
oh gosh, look, so I offer, look, depending on the coach and what they offer, it's always going to be different. But personally, I offer either two avenues. Some people just have that one thing they want to fix, shift, or transform in that moment in time. So if she had herself gone, okay, I just have this one belief that I know is holding me back. I mean, some people don't even know. They might just think, oh, there's something holding me back from gaining more followers or making that next income level or being seen confidently on social media. Like, I feel like something's happened. We're going to just nut out that one problem in a 90-minute session, and then with a bit of follow-up afterwards. That's it. Done, dusted, move on, have it, build on the business, and let me know how you're going if you need any more help. But some people, like this client I'm currently working with, she wants to be in a longer program because she knows she's got some deeper things to shift, and she wants more support on some of also that strategy, like foundational pieces to get herself ready to be seen and put herself out there. So we're going to work on a lot of those deeper beliefs that have been sitting there for a long time. So for her as well, she's witnessed through Facebook, in a Facebook group, particularly in this town, someone putting up a post saying, hey, I'm offering tarot readings. Just let me know, DM me, send me a message. And the comments afterwards weren't very supportive. They kind of ripped her apart. And for her, she's afraid of being seen because she doesn't want the same thing to happen. But we can work around that. There's ways to support her mindset in that. We can create boundaries, like energy boundaries. We can tap into the ideal client she wants to attract. And I can also guide her into the safe Facebook pages of Broome that she can share her information and feel really supported in. So yeah, so in that aspect, we're working on a bigger timeline and more elements that are going to support her into launching her business.
Yeah, awesome. Because you see something like that, and I think that it's really common, it would be normal for, somebody to look at that and think, oh my goodness, I don't want to experience that, therefore I can't post, therefore I can't put myself out there. But we're so linear in our thinking and absolute in it that it's almost like there's that thought of, if I put myself out there, the same thing is going to happen to me. And it's like, why would we even think that? Yes, we've seen something and it wasn't great, it's not positive, but there could be so many reasons as to why that happened. And part of it might be just on that day there are a lot of cranky people on the internet, and one person puts something and then all the other cranks decide they're going to comment as well.
Oh, totally.
it's so
And for that
like,
person who posted it, they may be used to those kind of comments and be like, duck, water off a duck's back. Like, yeah, whatevs. I know you're crazy because you don't believe in what I believe in. So you're not my people. Don't come. Like, and that's fine. It's some people may respond to it in different ways. So for her, it just made her feel terrified. And it's the truth. You're putting yourself out there in a way that's beyond what we've all grown up as, with like the yellow pages, or a bit of a little advert in the back of the newspaper, that kind of thing. This is literally, we're putting ourselves out there for the world to see. And I would say probably feeling confident within yourself in all aspects of business is definitely a big theme that comes through. So having the confidence to be seen, to show up, to support your clients or your customers. Yeah, and definitely laser focus. I would say that's another one that's come through a lot. Like people feeling like they're just scattered in their brain and they can't focus on a task at hand, or they get stuck down the rabbit warren of doom scrolling. Somebody once called it. I was like, oh, that's a great word, doom scrolling. They can't bring that focus in when they have a specific amount of time, and particularly mums in business. Like time is very, 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 very has to be focused. You've got to get in there and get it done because you've got so much else going on and around. Having been like the most productive in the time given, rather than just procrastinating or fluffing around and then realizing, crap, I've wasted like 2 hours when I could have really churned out some really important work. So I think, to be honest, there's a myriad of things that can always be worked on within business, relationships, money mindset. That's another big one. We all love money, all sorts of things. So I support basically entrepreneurial women in business, regardless to what avenue or level they're in at this moment.
Yeah. Because you think that whole doom scrolling thing, it's really just a form of avoidance. So what is it that you're actually not wanting to do that is keeping you here on your scroll doing all those things?
Absolutely.
I think that just thinking about, when you get terrified of sharing and, those things that stop you. One of the things that I think really helped me in the first few years, because it's hard to put your face out there when you haven't been a person that has been out. Like I never performed on stages or anything as a kid. And I think, sometimes maybe people who are exposed to that when they're younger don't feel as awkward doing it. But it was just that I don't remember where I heard it. It was probably on a podcast one day, and somebody said, everybody judges automatically. Like, it's just a natural part of being a human. So the thing is that you can't actually ever avoid being judged. You will be, no matter, and it might be good judgment, maybe bad judgment. People are going to be thinking things all the time. You can't stop it. You can't prevent it. You can't avoid it. You can't make yourself non-judgy to a place, because it doesn't matter really what you do. Someone is always going to have a thought about it. And the thing is,
100%.
You don't know what they are either. So why are you even worrying about it? Like, you do not know what was going on in someone's head. So just like release it, let it go. Like whatever, it's in their head. The only time you're ever going to hear it is if someone does decide to write something. But most of the time you're never going to know what anyone is thinking anyway. So
I agree with that. Absolutely.
That moment of like, what are we even worried about?
And it really does come down to like the fact that we're afraid of judgment. You're right. As a human race, as beings, we judge. We judge whether we believe we judge or not. Like you might be sitting at a cafe and you see someone walking past and you go, oh, would I wear shoes like that? Or, don't really know what's going on with her hair. Or, oh, they look lovely. Oh, they look like they're so happy. Oh, what a cute baby. We all judge, we all comment, we all think, and you're right. It's whether someone verbalizes it or not, or puts it out into the ether for you to hear. That's a different thing. But I definitely feel like it comes down to, like, you're right, letting it go, because you can't control everybody's thoughts and feelings. And most of the time we're all too busy thinking about our freaking selves anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all too busy thinking about ourselves and our own problems.
Worst judges.
We're not really worried about that person and how they're wearing their shoes. We're thinking about ourselves. But coming into that energy space of, I'm going to attract the clients that are most in alignment with me, and I'm going to attract the clients that are going to resonate with me, and they're going to love what I do, because we aren't meant to all love everybody and be in everybody's tribe and circle. We're meant to be with those that we energetically are compatible with. So we are going to sometimes attract some loose ends, But most of the time we're going to attract all those that are in alignment. And I think that's where, as a business owner, we just have to discern and be really strongly minded in like, well, for example, if someone came to me for coaching and I didn't think I was the right fit, I would be honest. I'd be like, yeah, look, I'd love to support you. I don't think I am. I'm always happy to refer, go see this person, go see that person,
Yeah, exactly. I so agree. And, I think it's just one of those universal laws that the people who are on that same frequency as you just tend to be attracted to you anyway. So it's just going to happen organically. And I think every now and then you get that like, whoa, that was weird. Or, you come into contact with someone who is not on your level or frequency, and it feels so like jarring, doesn't it? Because it's unusual. And it just shows you how often we are actually in sync with those around us. Which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just love what you've shared there. Could you tell us where people can connect with you? How do they best find you and learn more about what you're up to if they're interested in sound baths or any
absolutely. So you can find me on the socials at Anna F. Hastie, so ANNA, F for Freddie, Hastie, Hastie, as well as annahastie.com. That's my website. And I also have a YouTube channel, which is also under Anna F. Hastie. There's another Anna Hastie online, and she's a musician. I'm sure she's exceptional. I've never really looked at her YouTube channel, but amazing. And I also have a podcast, which is Alchemy Mindset with Anna Hastie, and you can find that on all those beautiful podcast platforms. And that's where I share lots of mindset. I share sound bars. I share meditations and affirmations. I share all the things that I love within the work that I do.
Oh, so amazing. So definitely make sure you check out Anna's podcast, get a taster of the sound bath experience there, and then and you can connect with her online on socials as well. All of those links will be in the show notes. So
yes, absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. So Anna, can you let us know how we can best reach you? Where do you hang out, and how do we experience this world of sound baths?
Amazing. Thank you. You can find me on the socials at Anna F. Hastie. So that's on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel where there is, you can find out more about my podcast and other things I offer. And that's also Anna F. Hastie. And also a podcast, as I said, Alchemy Mindset with Anna Hastie on all the streaming platforms. But if your listeners are interested in experiencing a short mini sound bath, they can just click the link in your show notes and it will take them to a download from YouTube.
Amazing. Oh, that's so generous of you. Really appreciate that. And just incredible. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today, introducing me especially to a whole new world of sound baths. So hopefully it has been something new and interesting for you as well. And I really appreciate your time, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed being on this show.
Awesome. And we'll chat soon. Bye.
Thank you.